and I want to give you guys this tip. So hi everybody, we're talking about the 10 top social media mistakes that small businesses make online. And what I'm doing right now, so that you can have an idea, a big, huge mistake that a lot of small businesses make on social media is they treat each channel separately. So then all of a sudden it becomes a lot of work. But I want to give you guys a tip right here that is something that Ann and I have developed and perfected over many years of trying to do everything separately, and here it is. So the first thing we did, we wrote this into a blog post, and we put that on our website, goimu.com. Then the second thing that we did is we send it out to our email list. So all of our email lists, all of our email subscribers, they get that as their weekly broadcast. Right there, that's 2 marketing things checked off, right? 2 marketing strategies done. Then the third, what am I doing right now? That's right, I'm doing a live workshop over here to my right inside of our Facebook business group, which you can do as well. So you take that information and you do a live workshop, or however else you want to distribute it. The fourth thing that I'm doing right now is I am filming a YouTube video over here to the left. So all of our YouTube subscribers will get to watch this on recording. And then, the fifth thing I'm doing 5 consecutive things right now, is I'm actually using my audio for our IMU Biz Nation podcast out of one article that we wrote. That is how you can take one piece of your content and make it supercharged, make it into this powerful piece of material that then stays out working for you for a very, very long time. Now, what else could you do? Does anyone else have some ideas about how you could make this a 6th or a 7th strategy? Well, what comes to mind for me is that I can take my 10 tips from this article and I can make it into a Pinterest infographic. So I've got Pinterest covered. Then I can make it into an Instagram image. I could make it into a quick Instagram story. I can definitely post any calls to action I want for it onto Facebook, right? So there we go. I'm covering all sorts of different online channels in one fell swoop. And really all I have to do is sit down and, be myself for about an hour, and I'm out there and all of that is working for me. So that's the very first tip. It's actually not inside of our blog post, but it's so incredibly simple, and then you have so much material out there working for you with not much extra effort on your part at all. So let me jump right into our first tip for today, and that is going to be not defining your target audience. So for all of you guys inside of our IMU Biz Nation who has ever worked with Intentional Marketer University, the very first thing that we tell you is you have to know who your target customer is. And for anybody watching me or Ann, after a while we're like, got it, we've heard it, we know, perfect. But surprisingly, your competition in your industry, people who you think have got it all together and you see them posting all the time, 97% of those people have not identified a target audience. So that's why we keep repeating it over and over. Before you dive into your promotion strategy on any social media channel, so what I just talked about, how to take one piece of content and dissect it, you need to know who you're targeting that to. How old is your target customer? Are they male? Are they female? Where are they hanging out at? Are they even on Facebook? Chances are good they are, but is that where they spend the majority of their time? Maybe not. Maybe they are insane Snapchatters. They're just crazy about Instagram, and that's where they're always scrolling through their feed. Maybe they've had it with Facebook, right? So where are they actually hanging out online? Now, where are they hanging out offline? Meaning, what are their hobbies? What do they like to do? when I'm not online, I like to be, with some other moms. I like to be running. I'm really trying to become a runner. Even though I can run for long distances now, I wouldn't quite consider myself a runner, so that's something offline. So you might find me asking questions in a runner's chat room, right? So when you really know who your target audience is, then you're going to know what their interests are. And that's all going to come from watching them on social media. It's like what we talked about last week. Really being mindful of what your audience is doing and saying online, so then you know where to go and look for them elsewhere. Then you just go to those online locations, you create a bio there, you create a profile there, you create your channel there, and you begin communicating there. The second biggest mistake is an incomplete bio, an incomplete profile, or one that is not highly optimized. Now, a lot of IMUers will know that we have a Facebook masterclass and we have an Instagram masterclass that we've been talking about all summer long. So inside of those two masterclasses, that's where we break it down for you step by step with worksheets that include, do you have this in your bio? Do you have that in your profile? And why it's so important is because on most social media channels, your bio, your profile is the first thing that people see. So do you have your links, your URLs prominently listed in your bio? And are they going to still working pages? Are they going to updated pages? Do you have a professional photo, or do you even have a photo? Surprisingly, I still go and look at some comments or some different pages of people, and they don't even have a profile photo yet. And we're living in 2016, where really it's very intuitive that you would just know you have to have some sort of a profile photo, and it's one of the things that still gets overlooked. Now, if you're a solopreneur, right, you work for yourself, you have your own business, or you're the brand, you're the personal face of a bigger company, right? So this is good for MLMs. You're going to want to just have a professional photo of you. Now, conversely, if you sell products and say, it's a pet branded product, you're going to want to have maybe a picture of your pet is appropriate for that channel picture. You're going to know the best. Just make sure that you choose wisely. Be creative in your bio, showing people what you do. People will be more likely to follow you if they know what you have to offer. This is why it's also important to go back and revisit your profile, I would say every 3 to 6 months. And this is because in your industry, when new blood comes on, they're looking around and they're finding other people just like you who's been on for a while, and they're looking at your profile. And then people who don't have as much savviness will copy yours exactly. So before you know it, the market, the industry on that social media channel has become heavily flooded with profiles that all read the same. And then all of the pizzazz that it used to have, all of the wow that it used to have is dead. So that's why you, staying on top of the game, needs to be revisiting your profile every 3 to 6 months, changing it up. I've been writing a lot. I'm in the process this year of hopefully, fingers crossed, publishing a book. So this is going to be something that I'm going to want to include in my bio, simply because it's how I've changed and how I've evolved. When we founded Intentional Marketer University, Ann and I went in first thing, and it was a huge pride point for us that we were now the co-founders of Intentional Marketer University. We didn't want to have any of our old information reading the same. So make sure that your bio is complete and that it is fresh and different than everyone else every 3 to 6 months. Number 3 is a huge social media mistake, and I have really been I have to say that I have done this all the time, and it just wore me out. Now, what could it possibly be? Well, number 3 is I thought it was going to be easy. And that was a huge mistake on my part. I thought that it was just as simple as plugging some pictures in, blasting my product information out there, and I had no strategy for it. I thought, this is easy. You just get on there and you just show people what you're doing, right? They're going to love me. Easy peasy. No, I had no strategy because it was not easy. It was hard. It is frustrating. It makes you brain fried. But when you have a strategy for the business and the brand that you're trying to portray, then you get the right message out there and you start attracting the targeted customers that you want, and that makes it easier. You have to do that first and foremost work, which is tough, and you have to learn. But then once you learn, it's just like riding a bike. It's easy. And then you understand what you're doing, and then you can scale up, and then you have time to go back every 3 to 6 months and change up your profile. You have time to start playing around with the new Instagram stories or a completely different medium, right? I mentioned in the very beginning that I'm going to take this list and make it into a Pinterest graphic. Now, if you're just getting started on Facebook business or Instagram business, you might not have time for that. But when you learn exactly how to do Instagram and Facebook the right way the first time, 6 months, you're going to be like, I have that. It's set on automation. That's another thing we teach you inside of our classes. We teach you how to automate the whole thing. So for example, right now, I'm able to be doing these 9 different social media strategies out of one piece of content because my Instagram is posting automatically to my targeted customers with all the right hashtags. My Facebook is posting automatically. LinkedIn is posting automatically. Google Plus is posting automatically. And that's another thing that is not easy in the beginning if you don't know it, but once you've learned it and we teach you how to do it, then it's super easy, and you can actually be having fun, not worrying and sweating because you're trying to get a video done while you still have to get Instagram done, and you still have to get, you guys get the point. I've beat that horse enough. I'm going to let it go now. You guys get it. Number 4, assuming that all social media channels are the same. Okay? We get it. So inside of the blog post, you're going to see how we break it down. And let me make it really simple here. On Twitter, because Twitter moves so fast, and Anne is the absolute expert on Twitter. Her Twitter account blows my mind. She has got it down to such a science that is just amazing. I'm not good at Twitter. I have not tackled that beast yet, but Anne is. And so she knows on Twitter, because it moves so fast, a tweet life is about a minute. Anne can even argue that maybe it's about 8 seconds, right? There's like 8 seconds to a minute of how long a tweet lasts, unless it goes viral and then it's retweeted all over the place. At that speed, you need to be posting to Twitter, say every half hour, 24 hours. That's how crazy it is. So that works for Twitter. Can you imagine if you started posting every half hour for 24 hours on Facebook? Yikes! We would all be unfollowed so fast it would make our head spin, right? So Facebook is a completely different animal. Pinterest. For example, Pinterest, a single pin can last up to 6 months. So Pinterest has a very long shelf life. So you can go much slower on Pinterest. And the way you get a lot of followers on Pinterest is 80% of your time on Pinterest, you are following people and liking pins, and only 20% of the time are you posting any of your own stuff. Crazy, huh? So you just have to get to know each social media channel that you want to become an expert at. If you like, I don't think I'll ever go to Twitter and do what Anne has done with it for me, because that's just not the way I work. But for Instagram, I will. I've become an expert on Instagram, right? So you have to just choose what channel is going to be your baby and give it the love and attention it needs. And then, gently bring in another channel, you get the picture. Okay, so number 5, a social media mistake that we see tons of small businesses make. I'd have to say it's a solid 90% of small businesses make this mistake in the beginning, and that's that they talk about themselves too much. So how many accounts on any given social media channel, Facebook, Instagram, etc., are posting product picture after product picture saying, buy me, right? This is why it's so beneficial. Or, it was bad enough inside of my Instagram feed when I had to scroll past all of the It Works wrap pictures of the before and after tummy. Because let's be honest, the before tummy, it's not pretty. You sit down to look through Instagram, which should be a beautiful, picture sharing site, and you're just looking at woman after woman after woman and I have it too, right? But I'm not going to be posting my picture of my tummy on Instagram of my post-baby tummy. Yeah, I have it. I've got, I have 2 babies, so I have a post-baby tummy. But you're not going to see me posting it over and over on social media. But that's what we see a lot of small businesses doing, is just these product pictures. And it gets to be too much. So now it's on all of the stories and the Snapchat. Enough with it already. It doesn't make me want to buy it. It makes me want to scroll past it even faster. And you guys are probably doing the same thing too. So what do? We have to realize that the tables have turned entirely, and now consumers, our audience members, are the ones that have the upper hand. They're telling the brands what they're going to buy. And it's your job to attract them to your brand. First and foremost, establish that relationship. And if you don't, you're going to hurt the trust that you have. They're going to be scrolling past your product pictures at rapid speed and never stopping on you. So that's why we always teach you to lead with value. You have to lead with value. It's not going to result in a sale the first time you post a value post about how like I loved reading all of these. For example, a story. When I had my second child, I knew that I was going to be overweight for a while after I had her, but by doing some research online, and surprisingly, it came from a social media post that I saw it, and it was just a big pineapple on my Instagram feed. And I was like, a big pineapple? That got me to stop. I stopped. Wow, big. Number 1, she stopped. It piqued my curiosity. So I clicked on the pineapple, and I read what the woman who had posted it had to say. And she gave me this tiny little blurb about how pineapple, adding it to a smoothie or eating it raw, helps to relieve bloating and helps to relieve inflammation. So when you're inflamed, especially after having a baby, you're bloated, lots of water. If if you don't have it completely natural, you've got a lot of fluids in your body. You ladies know, you guys, from your wives. So I read that, and it was just in her Instagram little description. Now, what did she do? She gave me a call to action to get her pineapple smoothie recipes in her bio, right? So I went up to her bio. Her URL, her click to action was perfect. I clicked on it, and what did I need to give her to download her pineapple smoothie recipes? I had to give her an email so she could give it to me, right? You have to send them it somewhere. So what that did was it got me on her email list. And it was really nice because once a week after that, she was sending me different recipes to help me beat my bloat. Now, in the end, she was a Beachbody coach. So she, in the end, had a call to action that if I needed to lose even more weight, I could buy one of her products to help me exercise better. But in the beginning, she completely gained my trust by giving me all of this valuable information that I was searching for right then and there. And I actually used all of those recipes. I was searching for this before I had my daughter. So this was almost 3 years ago. I still, to this day, put pineapple into my smoothie. I just buy them when they're in season. I chop them up, I freeze it, and then I put it into my smoothie. And I still, to this day, 3 years later, get her newsletters. She only sends them one a week. It's totally not pushy. I know that she's a Beachbody coach. If and when I ever stop running long enough and I need to, buy some of her products, I know where to go. So that, you guys, is how you stop talking about yourself so much and you attract people in instead. Tip number 6, or social media mistake number 6, judging followers in terms of quantity versus quality. And this also goes really well with self-esteem. So maybe you've seen this on social media. I know I do, and I've been in this game for a long time. I'll go and I'll just start looking at people who do what I do on social media, and I'll notice that they have, maybe 15.7 thousand followers, and that's a good number. 24,000 followers, 60,000 followers, right? That's a good number. However, if you're seeing this on other competitors' pages and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that sucks. I've got like 500. I've got 287. I have 115, right? I have like 3,000. Whatever your number is, if you've been hustling and working your butt off to really understand and target your customers, right? That's another thing. I mean, the master classes, that's why I can always talk about them. It's because they're so comprehensive that we teach you how to do everything. So when I talk about targeting your followers, guys, and you don't know how to, ask us questions about it. Get a master class if you haven't yet, because then it all starts to make sense. It becomes easier. So if you have 115 followers and you've been laser targeting them, those are 115 people that at some point, like myself and the Beachbody woman story, the pineapple story, would purchase from you. We cannot kid ourselves to think that maybe that person that you're watching right now and they have 64,000 followers, did they buy 10,000 of them? Maybe they bought 50,000 of them. You can go on to Fiverr at any time, or I'm sure you guys have been getting inundated on Instagram with buy 10,000 followers. We can't kid ourselves that people aren't still buying their followers. And it is absolutely the worst thing you could ever do for your brand and for your message ever. Because not even 1% of those people would be actually targeted to you. A lot of them are actually just shell accounts that were set up specifically for people to make money off of you, selling you an account of a user who doesn't actually exist, who doesn't maintain that account. They've got like 3 pictures on there. It's a shell account, and it's just to get 10,000 people for like $9.99 or however much you can buy them for. That's just a waste of your money, and you're just buying fakes. You're buying fake accounts. So never ever do that, and never judge your hard efforts and your targeted capabilities based on someone else's numbers, because we don't know. I love it. I actually saw this on Morgan. She's inside of our IMU Biz Nation group. Morgan Kane, she's got a Facebook business page, and I saw it in there. It was a graphic, and it said, and I love this, I've been repeating it to myself all week long, I will not judge my success based on a stranger's Instagram account. Isn't that great? I will not judge myself and my success, my real life story, based on someone's social media account that I don't even know if it's real or not. So keep that in mind. Make it your mantra today. Social media mistake number 7 is being impatient. Social media marketing does not offer the golden ticket to making sales in your business. It does take strategy, and this is right in line with tip number 3, thinking it's easy. It takes strategy. It takes thought. It takes time. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, or my first live workshop I did with you guys, where I talked about marketing being a science. It is not a guessing game. It's not just something you can hope and pray and just randomly post all the time. It takes time. It takes thought. It takes understanding it. And it takes time to build up that targeted following, to attract a percentage of that following, to build a relationship and trust, and eventually convert them into followers or customers. How about that? Eventually turn them into customers. Okay? If you opened a brick and mortar business today, you could anticipate it being profitable within 3 to 5 years. That's why hardly anyone is just popping up brick and mortar businesses all over the place. You don't see that happening. But yet, on any given day in the world, thousands of men and women will start an online business in an MLM company. Most of them are in multi-level marketing companies, right? It doesn't matter if you're a coach or if it's technology or if it is products. Most of those people are going to start an online business in a multi-level marketing company, an MLM. Also in like Etsy, Shopify, those are called creative businesses. But they never go in starting it with the thought that I need to be patient for 3 to 5 years before I can really turn that profit, before I can be making that $60,000 a month. And you know what? That is absolutely the truth. An online business is unlike anything in the time of the world that we've seen yet. And you can make those crazy numbers. You absolutely can, but you can't be impatient and make them. So the thousands of people that start an online business today, we'll just say MLM. I'm not trying to put that down because I love MLMs. I started in a multi-level marketing, also called network marketing. That's where I started 4 years ago actually. But all of those thousands of people who dump in today, 97% of them will be gone within 36 months. Within 3 years. 36 months is that golden number, okay, where you actually start seeing those numbers, right? That's amazing. So just be patient. You can't start a business with an impatient mindset. It takes investment of time. It takes a monetary investment of some sort, either paying your dues, buying programs, buying classes, buying education, paying for your website. It takes time and investment, but that's also why I love our free podcast. I love our free YouTube videos. I love our free workshops because we're here to support you guys. Social media mistake number 8, posting inappropriate or unrelated content to your brand. I don't think I have to go too far in depth with this, especially not with my live workshop class people who are going to be watching this in our business group. I've never seen anything inappropriate inside of there. But we do know that with anybody who is called a millennial, who has grown up literally with social media as their way of communicating, they really don't even pick up the phone to call anyone anymore. That veil of modesty, of control, and knowing what is inappropriate is very, very, very thin these days. So this is for my millennials out there who have grown up with social media, and it doesn't seem like a big thing to be posting stuff that is inappropriate when you're trying to build your business. Be very mindful. The old adage goes, if you wouldn't feel comfortable having your mother or your father, for you ladies out there, if you wouldn't feel comfortable having your father see it or your mother see it, don't do it. That's all. Step number 9, mistake number 9, tip number 9, whatever we're calling it, not paying attention to our accounts. So one of the best things that I mentioned in this lesson today is that I have all of my posting, for the most part. Of course, I still post when it's random, but I don't base my whole marketing strategy on posting when it's random, or else I'll never find those random times, and I'll never find the time to post my actual marketing content if it's always random. So almost all of my marketing strategy is automated, and it's a well thought out system. It's based on analytics, insights, what's trending, all of that stuff, the science behind marketing. Randomly, I will post pictures of my kid or my dog or a video or a funny quote I saw, or I'll share. But what's not random and what is not automated is me checking every single day for comments, for conversations happening, for likes, for shares, for the actual purpose of why social media was created, for that community factor. That's not automated. And here's the thing, a free tip. If you are automating your Instagram accounts, don't do automated comments. You guys are probably seeing these as well. For example, I just posted, and you guys are seeing them inside of our Facebook group, IMU Biz Nation. I just posted, or Anne's been posting them. It's just a graphic, and it says August marketing tip, use video. And of course, I have those going to my Instagram account. You would not believe how many automated comments I'm getting on just a graphic that says, absolutely stunning picture. Okay, I know that's automated. That person is not really watching me. And what that does is it gives a big thumbs down in my book. And whatever they're trying to do, they're trying to get me to go and see their profile and see what their business is about. You know what it does? I hear you guys screaming it right now. It makes your yuck factor go up, and you just scroll right by them. You're not going to go and interact with someone who is clearly fake posting, right? So be careful. I say don't do automated comments at all. Get in there. Spend that 15 minutes a day. I like to do it while I'm eating my lunch and the house is quiet. And I go through and I look at all the comments and the shares and the likes. And I won't do it right before bed, but I'll do it maybe about 2 hours before I go to bed, and just check it out again and interact with my audience that I love, that I'm trying really hard to have a relationship with. I don't want to have social media where it's not a relationship. And number 10, this is huge. The biggest social media mistake is not responding or deleting negative comments. Now, Anne tells this story inside of the blog post, so you can go and read it, but let me read it to you real quick. And this is Anne's story. I recently had this happen to me on my Instagram account. One of my users told me she was sick of seeing my posts and that she was unfollowing me because I was bugging the SHIT out of her. Seriously, that had never happened to me up until that day. While my bad self thought about firing back, I took a step back and I thought about how I could responsibly handle her comments. I responded back with an apology if I offended her in any way, and just let her know that I was only sharing strategies and tips that I have found to be successful in my business. After a question about why my URL asked for an email address, right? So we get a lot of questions, and this might have been from the same lady. Why do I have to give you my email address? I kindly answered that the link in my bio asks for an email address, and is only there for those who are interested in receiving my free checklists and tools. You have to send them somewhere. Yes, it gets people on your email list in return, just like the pineapple story did for me, but people who don't want to be on there will unsubscribe themselves. The blog address listed in the bio is there for anyone to visit with no email address required. So they can go to your website page at any time they want to and never have to enter an email address. Now, Anne finishes up, I absolutely admit that it took some restraint and maturity, but I have no doubt that in order to run a successful business, you have to take the good with the bad. And the comments on my picture are for me to keep or delete, but keeping them out there, not deleting them, responding to the negative comments and then not deleting them shows other followers the answers to those questions. And these may be questions that other followers may very well have had as well. So that's why we don't always want to delete negative comments, is because if you have a couple followers who are feeling the same way and you leave your nice response in the comments, they can read those and see that you're actually a good guy. You're one of the good guys who is honestly just trying to be out there helping people solve their problems, and that you're not pushy, and that anybody who doesn't want to do it doesn't have to. There's no gun to their head. You have an email there for people who want to receive your tips or tools or pineapple recipes. And you don't if you don't want to use it, right? They don't have to if they don't want to use it. You have your blog there or your website there for people who want to visit you. For people who don't, they don't. So the above mistakes, or the mistakes that I've spent talking about in this video, podcast, and live workshop, are in no doubt incredibly common. That's why we are able to write and talk about them so easily, because we've seen it, been there, done it. I'm pointing to myself. This is a fairly new landscape, social media is, when it comes to advertising, marketing, and promoting your brand. But the good thing about social media is that it has a very short-term memory. Less than a minute on Twitter. You can easily revise your strategy, and the old stuff that was not yielding any results will be forgotten, and you can start converting new followers into sales today. So that gives me a lot of, peace and comfort, and just, it's nice to know that social media is not like, your master's thesis in college. You can't get your master's thesis wrong, but you can get social media wrong, 6 months ago, and start implementing everything that you do know today to give yourself one leg up for the future. So for all of my people watching inside of Facebook IMU Biz Nation, please go and download your worksheet so that you can take this lesson one step further and really hone in on your marketing strategy. And then if you guys are interested in any of those master classes that I mentioned, I'll put the link up. Again, you look at it if you want to. You don't look at it if you don't want to. And if it annoys anybody, my sincerest apologies. I will see you guys, as always, in Facebook, IMU Biz Nation. You guys are always accessible. I'm always accessible to you. On the podcast, I will see you next week. And on my YouTube, I will see you next week as well. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.